Mr. Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
I see that the clock has now given up entirely.
From the wrong time to no time. Good morning. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, there being no preliminary matters on the AM docket, we're going to go out of order, I think. We're going to call case number 2. North Avenue Market, 30 West North Avenue. Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B,
Thanks.
beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-1603, small c, number 1, small I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities, 40% of food sales, a seating capacity for a minimum of 75 individuals, requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky representing the applicants.
Good morning. With all those who are going to testify, please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Mr. Kadensky?
This is an application for a new Class B market, a license. As some of you may remember, if you're old enough, to where the new North Avenue Market was located, that whole area, there's going through some revitalization and so forth. It's got wide support. Councilman Stokes is here. I don't know if you want to take him out of order so we can get back to
Counseling.
city business.
That's fine.
Come on down here, Councilman. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Councilman Stokes' address is 100 North Holiday Street.
And you're familiar with this project, and I think you had sent a letter in and you're in favor of it, is that correct?
Correct.
Is there anything you want to add to for the board, or?
We do have your letter. I'm trying to find it. We have a whole bunch of them here, but here it is. I see it. Yes,
Can I just read it also?
you may.
Okay. You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Dear Commissioners, when communities seek to revitalize and reinvent themselves, good sound business are key to success and the future growth of those endeavors. The North Avenue Market is a business that's deeply invested in the community, and the owner has a long history with a deep respect for and an understanding of people who live and work near North Avenue. Recent developments such as the Motor House, the Center Theater, and the Parkway are examples of a positive future. The North Avenue Market will be a welcome and highly anticipated addition to the station's North community, and I am excited to support this application. And if you don't have this for the record,
We have it, and it'll be made part of the record. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman. I know I had submitted a packet of documents. I don't know if you have.
We have that, and you want to go through the meeting the requirements?
We went through the capital investment to date is $282,281. There's a spreadsheet. They're probably going to put another $100,000 more in once they get the rest of the things to get the place open. They want to try to open before the end of the year. The menu was attached. See what's the secret sauce. The floor plan as submitted with 156. They have a security plan. We have letters from the community. We have letters from zoning concerning the live entertainment. We have letters of support that were submitted by various individuals that should be in your packet. I think that you see the group here, they're going to be the ones that are going to be in charge.
Thank you.
Got 2 calls there. I took them. It's okay. And they're going to get everybody alcohol certified. They have a manager here that's going to be the general manager. They've already reached out to the community, as you can see, and have wide community support. I think this will be another star for that particular area that needs it. They have a bunch of events that are coming up that for the live entertainment. They're had some one-days for some charities when they didn't have the license, so they'll put these events on with the liquor license.
So,
I'm sorry. Who is going to run the operation?
That's my general manager.
Can you come
Come
forward?
up here and
So it's a unique concept of a restaurant, bookstore, arcade, and retail sales. So can you describe it a little bit better for us?
Sure, absolutely. Me and my business partner, Von Weitzman, created a sauce company not too long ago, and we're looking for a way to show off our sauces and use the restaurant as a laboratory to create new sauces. And to have a menu with burgers, fries, and milkshakes seems to be the best way and the best vessel to display those sauces to the public. And to have, beer, wine, and alcohol to accompany them seemed like a great idea and something that the community was looking for. And we thought, to have live entertainment would just really round out the entire situation. The space is beautiful and it deserves that kind of entertainment.
Are you going to have, is it going to be a serious bookstore, or are you just going to have some books there?
No, we have a bunch of bookshelves in the back. It's probably not going to end up being a serious bookstore at all.
Oh, yeah, okay. And how about, what do you have, skee-ball or something? What's the arcade game?
The arcade are like from the 70s and 80s, like Pac-Man, Tetris.
Okay. Okay.
Could
I'm
you
sorry,
go?
keep cutting you off. Go ahead, please.
You're fine. Some more information about the nature of the live entertainment, and then if you could go through their brief background.
Well, the live entertainment, it'll be from different groups that have, and I got some pictures here, and I think that some events they've had when they had one days, give you an idea of the people that were there. Here's a list of some of the events that they have planned coming up, give you an idea of what they're.
On that list, you'll see a very wide range of musical acts, everything from
Those are your
bluegrass.
sauces?
Yes, it is.
So it's pretty varied,
Yeah.
diverse.
I always try to tell people, and I don't know, and maybe this help you in the future or may not, that in Baltimore has a certain market. Say you want to open a jazz club. Baltimore has 5,000 people like jazz. It's never more than 5,100. It's never less than 4,900. So if you open 35 jazz places, you're not going to make it. If you sort of narrow it down and you vary it, I think you'll be okay. It was a new jazz place opened in down in Inner Harbor East. Excuse me, a fellow from the West Coast. And I hope everybody makes it. Your experience in alcohol, you're going to hire the managers that are going to be alcohol certified, is that correct?
Absolutely.
And how many people will be handling alcohol?
As of right now, we have, we're planning on a staff of 2 bartenders with 1 bar back and 2 busboys.
Excuse me, what was your name? We didn't-
Matthew Steinberg.
Okay.
Okay. And what's the retail sale aspect?
The retail has to do with our sauces. We also
I
have
see.
some locally made apparel.
Okay.
And there was an alcohol certification submitted with the application of the one licensee that's here.
So this isn't separate, this isn't like a market license, this is just a restaurant, bookstore, arcade, all-in-one liquor function as well, right? I mean,
Yes,
This
we're-
isn't like, it's not multiple,
No, the name comes from what the building was originally called.
Okay.
And how many seats outside?
We had 156 on the charts that were there.
Right. But how many outside?
Well, outside, I'm not sure how many are outside.
How many
You remember how many
tables?
are
or-
outside?
No, but I could estimate somewhere between 40 to 80. Something from Frank.
One of the plans had outdoors, yeah, there you go.
If you look on the plans, you see them on that, that's it, I'm the commissioner, you see it.
Yeah. It's like about 14
Mhm.
tables.
14, 4 tops, yeah. Mhm.
Do you have anything further, Commissioners?
Nothing, I submit.
No.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in your application, the evidence that's been received today, the packet that was submitted by council, I don't know if you want your pictures back, Mr. Kadensky. The proffers from council and testimony received, I would vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering.
I concur, and for the same reasons, vote to approve this new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering.
I join my colleagues in approving the new Class B license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering.
Good luck, folks.
Good luck.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, business plan. Board Exhibit 2, 8 letters of support. Exhibit number 3, photos. Exhibit number 4, event calendar.
Going to go back and order case number 1, Koba Korean Charcoal Grill, 510 East Belvedere Avenue, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, an application for a new Class B, beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under Article 12-1603, small c, number 1, small I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment, 40% food sales, seating capacity for a minimum of 75, requesting outdoor table service and off-premise catering. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kennedy representing the applicant.
Good morning. Would those who are going to testify raise their right hands, please?
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Yes.
This is an application for a restaurant in the Belvedere Square area. It's referred to as a Koba Korean Charcoal Grill. I've seen a couple of them, like Korean barbecues and all that are coming, so it must be the in thing. The particular location I've submitted, I don't know if you have it in your packet, a copy of the menu, the floor plan showing 90 seats and capital investments $280,000.
Which slot at Belvedere Square are they taking? Do you know who was there before?
Which, I'm not sure. Alex, do you know where? We gotta say your name first.
Yes, please. Please come around here, sir.
Silver Moon Diner or something like that?
Was,
Excuse me, I need your name for the record.
okay, name is Alex Wang.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
And what was there before, the Silver?
It was a diner before, I believe it's called Starlight Diner.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. All right, I know. Oh, is that the old Hess Shoe
Yeah,
place?
exactly, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly, uh-huh.
Where they
You had your slide when you were a kid.
Absolutely.
fish you
That's
in
where it
the
was.
back.
You
What
laugh, but I
slide?
lived 2 blocks from there when I was a kid.
Can't forget that.
So I went down that slide many times, got all my haircuts there. Okay. And when are you going to open?
They're probably gonna try, by the end of the year or so. So about a half a dozen employees. They had about 18 years in the business, working in a lot of places. In this typically, they're about 80% food, 20% alcohol. They don't have a big demand for alcohol, but it's used as an amenity for persons. She's going to make sure the people is taking the alcohol awareness test next week. Make sure that the people that are serving alcohol will be alcohol certified, familiarize herself with the rules and regulations of the liquor board.
Okay, and how many outdoor seats?
I think it's hard to tell, maybe 25 or so.
Okay. And how many people will be handling alcohol?
I think she did mention to me there'll be 6 people total, 3 at the front of the house, 3 at the back of the house. So the 3 will be out in front, the bartenders will all be alcohol certified.
Good question.
Do the packet when you go. Thanks.
And there'll be some additional amounts spent more than what's already been submitted, because they have to get other things like POS systems and their flatware and all that, but they've already spent $280,000 to date.
And then what's their background?
18 years in the food business, a lot of them had alcohol, dispensing, knows about, just make sure to check their cards, people over 21, et cetera.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the evidence has been submitted by council, which will be received, the proffers from council and testimony received. I'd vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
I concur for the same reasons and vote to approve this new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
I join my colleagues in approving the new Class B license with outdoor table service and off-premise catering. Good luck.
Good luck. This
Good
is
luck.
like the third or fourth venture in that location. I hope you
Yeah,
have more
exactly,
success
yes.
than the
Yes.
others.
You know the history very well. Thank you.
We'll bring the shoe store back so they can stretch your shoes in the back, and then you go next to Thompson's and
They
Cigar House and
also
get
would
food.
they had radiation to show your toes under the, do you remember that?
And you can't put, no, it's X-ray.
X-ray.
Oh,
So they show your shoe, they show you where feetsies are, where your toesies are.
Yes.
I'd like to call
glad they
exhibits for
don't
the
do that
record.
anymore.
Board Exhibit 1,
Young
business
kids, they
plan.
don't know.
Macio's 1924-26 North Monroe Street, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership. Please come forward.
Thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of applicants.
Good morning. Would you ladies raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Kadensky is an impossible act to follow, so I won't even try. We are here today on the transfer of Macio's on Route 1, 1926 North Monroe Street. We have Juanita Bass and Melanie Johnson. Macio's has been a bar at that location since at least the 1950s. Mr. Jabronis is the seller and the current licensee. He's here. I think he bought the bar in 2016, and I don't remember hearing about that address in all my years before that. So it's a pretty a historically well-run place with an older crowd, a kitchen. And so Ms. Bass has always wanted to own a bar. She has been working at the bar over the last few months, and she is pretty tough customer when it comes to knowing who her regulars are and making sure that there's no incidents. She has not been, but will be alcohol management certified, and she will be serving drinks. So Melanie Johnson, to her right, works for the Motor Vehicle Administration. She's a city resident. She may help out in some administrative capacity, but will not be serving drinks.
So, Ms. Bass, you going to be the only one serving drinks?
What bartenders?
Yeah.
So everybody's going to be tip certified? Okay.
and how many bartenders do you think you'll hire?
One a day.
Oh.
Oh, that one a day. in the
Besides
rotation.
you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And everything else going to remain pretty much the same as it is? Okay. Questions?
No questions.
No further questions.
Okay. He says you know your customers. Don't let Mr. Kadensky in.
Probably built the place. Yeah.
All right. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the proffers from counsel and testimony received, I'd vote to approve the application to transfer the license.
I concur for the same reasons and vote to approve the transfer of ownership of this Class B.
I vote to approve the transfer. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you all.
Elizabeth.
Appreciate it.
Club Subduction, 6820-24 Eastern Avenue, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license, an application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment. Please come forward.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky representing the applicant in this case.
Good morning. Is this Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand, sir, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
This is a transfer from an existing Class B license. It's on that road, Eastern Avenue. Some of you might remember when we're all crossing Blackwell used to be. It's across the street. Some of you get your cars washed at the Eastern Car Wash. That's right in that same strip. And there's another liquor restaurant down. Used to be called Pinty's, but now it's called something else. Mr. Freeman's had experience in the business. He had been a licensee on Blair Road at Truth Lounge. He's going to make sure his alcohol awareness is brought up to date because I think it may be close to expiring. He'll have about a half a dozen employees, of which the ones that will be serving indicated to me about 6 people working there. Half of them will be out in the front. He'll have those alcohol certified. He's talked to everybody along that strip there of businesses. He's got good replies to them, waiting for the place to reopen. And other than that, it's a straight transfer, have a menu. If it's important to have the menu, we could select it. He's still working on the menu, what he wants to have there.
And what's the nature of the live entertainment?
DJ,
State your name when you say it.
my name is Jeremy Freeman. DJ karaoke.
Okay. And let's see, what else we have here? And what type of restaurant is it? Is it
We're gonna sell, food for the patrons like chicken, fish, finger food.
okay. Commissioners have questions?
No.
Any issues at Truth Lounge?
No.
No issues? Okay. Yeah, but no questions.
Okay. Thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, proffers from council, testimony received, I'd vote to approve the transfer of the license with continued live entertainment.
I agree. I vote to approve the transfer of ownership with continuation of live entertainment.
I vote to approve the transfer with the continuation of live entertainment. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
No exhibits?
I know a little bit about that place too, if you know it's next to the cemetery. No?
That place?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
2 doors over, cemetery, across the street, cemetery.
From Club Seduction?
It's a lot of quiet people there.
If one is reposing there, I suppose.
Every once in a while, they need a little schnooky, to turn over,
Ben 604 Wine Cellars, 711 South Central Avenue, Suite 200, Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. An application to transfer location of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license presently located at 1001 Fleet Street to 711 South Central Avenue, Suite 200, requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages. Please come forward.
Good morning, Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg Martin Greenberg. On behalf of the applicant, I'm joined by my colleague Justin Williams, as well as the 2 individual licensee applicants, Clark Foreman and Jennifer St. Germain.
Good morning. Would you folks raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony about to give will be the truth?
Thank you. This is an application to transfer the location of the BD7 license held by Bin 604 to their new location. You may be familiar with the Liberty Building that was recently constructed in Harbor East. The Whole Foods that is currently located on Exeter Street in Harbor East is relocating to a new flagship store. Bin 604 has historically been located next to them, also on Exeter Street, 604 Exeter Street, hence the name. And they are proposing to relocate to be on a mezzanine space in the Liberty Building adjacent to the Whole Foods over there.
Are you going to still be 604?
Yes. Yeah, I'm still going to be 604.
That's what people know you by, I guess, at this point.
Can't change that at this point. Mr. Williams has handed up a folder full of exhibits, which I'll walk through briefly. The first thing that you'll see in the file is an excerpt from the urban renewal plan where this property is located. Because we're located in Ward 3, Precinct 3 of the city, there are certain restrictions on transfers of licenses. It needs to be within the boundaries of the urban renewal plan, and the map in the file shows that this site is located within the boundaries of the Inner Harbor East urban renewal plan. There are some photos in the file as well showing the existing location where Bin 604 is. There's also an article in the file about some legislation that was enacted in last year's General Assembly session that authorizes the conversion of a BD7 license in the 46th District to an A7 license. I'm not sure if you've seen any of these yet. It's actually something that's done administratively, the conversion, so it probably wouldn't come before the board, but that's part of what we're doing here is converting the BD7 license to the A7 license that restricts the hours of operation but addresses a zoning issue under the new zoning code. There's an aerial photo in the file as well showing the location of the new site, 711 South Central Avenue. It's almost catty corner southeast from the existing location. As I said, it's a mezzanine space within the retail portion of the Liberty Building. The Whole Foods is creating a new flagship store on the ground level, as well as they'll also be located on the mezzanine level. There's a indoor seating area, food court, prepared food section in the Whole Foods. The Bin 604 space will be located adjacent to that. It can be accessed directly from the parking garage, from the elevators. There's an elevator lobby located right there as well. And there's an article in the file as well about the new Liberty Building project. You'll also see a copy of our floor plan in the file. The site's a little bit bigger than their current space. They're adding some tasting areas, some space for teaching wine classes, but otherwise we'll lay out sort of similarly to any other packaged goods store. Finally, in the file, the last thing that you'll see is a copy of the resolution introduced in the City Council. It's in process right now, introduced by Councilmember Cohen to authorize the conversion of the BD7 license to a Class A7 license. The A7, as I mentioned a minute ago, has limited hours of operation. They can operate from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And as I mentioned, our individual licensee applicants are present with us today. Ms. St. Germain is our Baltimore City resident applicant. They are both currently on the liquor license. They are both planning to stay on the liquor license. They are familiar with the rules and regulations of the Liquor Board and have agreed to abide by them. I've proffered an outline that includes the legal standards that the board's required to consider. I'm happy to go through them if you'd like. With that, we would submit and request that the board approve the transfer of the license to the new location at the Liberty Building.
Do you know what's going to happen to the space you're in now in Whole Foods?
I do not.
I think I also happen to represent the landlord in certain other matters. And what I'm told is that they're looking for other retail tenants to move into this space and the Whole Foods space as well.
But you're still in your old space, right?
Yes.
When-
They're planning to move in about April, as soon as the construction is complete. They're planning to time it simultaneously with the opening of the Whole Foods over there.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, proffers from council, the exhibits received in evidence this morning and your testimony, I'd vote to approve the transfer of the license from 1001 Fleet Street to 711 South Central Avenue, Suite 200, with delivery of alcoholic beverages.
I concur based on the same reasons and vote to approve the transfer of location of this Class BD7, presently located at 1001 Fleet Street to 711 South Central Avenue, Suite 200, with delivery of alcoholic beverages.
I join my colleagues in agreeing to approving the transfer of the location of this Class BD7 license, presently located at 1001 Fleet Street to 711 South Central Avenue, Suite 200, along with granting them the delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Thank you all.
Good luck.
Mr. Williams. I call this for the record. Board Exhibit 1, business plan.
Murphy's Neighborhood Bar and Grill, 5800 York Road, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. A request for a transfer hardship extension under Article 12-1705, small b. Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees. With me today is Mr. Justin Frank, one of the owners and licensees. If you recall, the transfer was approved back in May. This project is going under extensive renovations. There was a fire at this premises previously, so they are diligently working towards making that deadline.
So is this in Govans?
What is that technically? Come on up.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you have to be
Justin
sworn if
Frank.
you're going to testify.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give in the truth?
Yes, sir.
And your name, sir?
My name is Justin Frank.
Good morning. So it is a Govans
I believe so,
location?
yes, sir.
So,
Yeah.
so when do we think that it's going to be ready?
We're hoping to make, if you grant us the 90 days, we're hoping to make that deadline.
Okay.
We need the maximum time.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of Mr. Previs's letter to the board of October 30, 2019, requesting the hardship extension, his proffer this morning in testimony, I would vote to grant a 90-day hardship extension.
I concur and vote to grant the 90-day hardship extension.
I concur and grant the 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
No exhibits.
Mr. Page, is that the morning docket?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. The board is in recess until 1 p.m.
Thank you. Larry, you're off till 1. Mr. Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. Now begins the PM session of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, preliminary matters on the PM docket. Case number 2, Club 2300 West Baltimore Street. This case has been postponed and will be rescheduled for another date and time. Call the case of John Cock Restaurant, 2001-03 Maryland Avenue, Class B, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.05 small a, prohibited hours on September the 21st, 2019. Violation of Rule 4.05 small b, prohibited hours on September the 21st, 2019. Please come forward.
Would all those who are going to offer testimony raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do. Yes, I do.
Is Mr. Jong or Mr. Richardson present? Oh, it's Ms. Jong? Okay. Ma'am, you're charged with 2 prohibited hours violations on September 21, 2019. Do you wish to admit or deny them? Okay. Do you want to tell the board what happened? If you're going to speak, just identify tell us your name. We're on the record, so we have to get your name.
My name is Suk Min Jong.
Could you spell that for the gentleman to my left?
SUKMINJEONG.
Are you related to this lady?
Yes, she's my mother.
Okay. So, Mr. Jong, what happened on September 21?
We opened till 4 a.m. and we sold the alcohol to the agent. So, yeah, we made a mistake.
So what time, you're normally supposed to be closed by 2?
Yes.
Okay. And you were still going at 3:15 a.m., huh?
Yes.
Okay. Agent Perez, what happened?
Agent Perez, Baltimore City Liquor Board.
Well, I have the dates here. So you arrived and you saw that there were a number of people still being served. Is that
I
correct?
received a tip. The establishment was operating after hours. Visited the location on September 21st. It was past 3 a.m. I observed lighting on, patrons coming in and out, which immediately I assumed they were operating. Went inside the establishment, observed several liquor bottles on the tables, beers, and I requested a table to eat. And while I was sat down, I ordered a few drinks for myself and my party. Okay. And I proceeded acting like I was a normal customer.
Okay. And so this is the first time you had this complaint for them?
Yes.
And were they cooperative when you spoke with them?
I didn't speak with them.
No. Okay. Did anyone speak with them? Okay. All right. So, Mr. Jong, your mother's had this license for 10 years and no history of violations. So you're just learning now what the hours are?
Up till last year, they had a license to open till 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay. And
The Baltimore City law changed in 2019 to 2 o'clock.
and your name, sir?
My name is David Kim.
And do you work there as well?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Is that accurate that they had a 4 a.m. license?
Up to 2018.
2007.
Could you swear, Mr. Akers, please?
Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, sir?
I do. Thomas Akers, Deputy Executive Secretary, Liquor Board. What I believe gentleman is referring to is the late-night commercial operations license that was instituted by the city a couple of years back. But the other step that he needs to do is provide a letter to the Liquor Board requesting to be open after 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. if he's going to be providing food. He has not yet done that.
So is that, whatever that was that you referred to originally, is that still in effect?
That's still in effect, late night
Just in
commercial.
order to have the benefit of it, you need to notify the board in writing?
In order for a licensee to have the benefit for serving food, you have to request from the board to be open and operating between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. for the purposes of serving food.
Has something changed about that in the last couple of years?
No, there's nothing that's changed about that. There is something that changed with the late night commercial operating license. That came maybe I'd say about 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
And they do have a late night commercial operating license.
Okay, so it sounds like there's some confusion here. After we're done, can they speak with you and get straightened out as to what they need to do? Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No, but it looks like we have other
Oh, did
witnesses.
you? Were you here? I'm sorry, I thought you were on this side. Come up and identify yourself, sir, please.
My name is Tony Brown from the Charles Village Benefits District.
Yes.
And I have a community impact letter for you. Okay. And I understand it's their first time in a long while, and it's just a volatile area down in that immediate area where there's robberies, shootings, homicide like 2 blocks away. So it's just to let them know that this is an area is a great concern to us, because if they can get served there after hours, I mean, it just feeds into the criminal element down
Now,
there.
do you ever talk with them?
No.
Can you?
Sure.
Okay, so when we're done here, can maybe, and the gentleman over here to my far right, Matt, he'll help you. He's our community liaison person.
Matt.
Make arrangements to work with them?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown. Do you want to speak, ma'am?
Good morning. My name is Dana Broadnex, and I'm representing Johns Hopkins University. I serve as the Director of Student Conduct. I'm here today representing as a community stakeholder. We are neighbors in the community, and we really hope to encourage our students to engage in local businesses, including John Keck Restaurant. However, we've had 2 incidents where we've had 4 severe intoxication students transported to the hospital for alcohol intoxication from attending events at the restaurant. And so what we hope is that we can work in better partnership so that the restaurant stay in kind of compliance, and we can work together on maintaining the health and well-being of the guests, including Hopkins students.
Okay, so it sounds like going forward, you could certainly use our services to facilitate some more communication. Do you understand that you're in a volatile area and you need to work with the community people and you need to work with the Hopkins people to keep up what is essentially a good record that you have? Sure.
Since the incident, Mr. Jung had a meeting with the deputy commissioner, and since then he has corrected all the mistakes. He closed at 2 o'clock, and a couple of weeks later they had an underage sting, and he passed that also. So and I'm also the alcohol awareness trainer, and I've been working with the Korean Business Licensed Beverage Association for the last 30 years. So I'm gonna train the employees also, and they're gonna keep everything and try to work with the community to solve the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, anything further?
Nothing further.
Just a comment, Mr. Chair. It sounds like you've had a good record. This seems like there was some kind of a mishap between the communication you were required with the liquor board, if I understand it correctly. But there are larger issues that you need to engage in beyond your establishment and working with our liaison in the community. I'm troubled by 4 students, if I heard 4 students from your restaurant being intoxicated and having to go to the hospital. That concerns me greatly. So this is your first violation, but I'd be very concerned going forward.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, as well as the letter received from the Charles Village Community Association, and the admission of the violations, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.05 small a on September 21, 2019, and a violation of our Rule 4.05 small b on September 21, 2019. I recognize that this was, to some extent, a failure to understand the change in the law and the additional requirements in the law, and I do take into account the fact that you've had the license for over 10 years with no other violations. So I would impose nominal fines of $100 as to each violation and give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.05, small a, prohibited hours on September 21st, 2019. And given this record, and I think it is reasonable to believe that there was some misunderstanding, and it looks like you all are willing to rectify that and work with the community. So based on that, I concur with the $100 fine as to the first violation. As to the second, I too find a violation of Rule 4.05, small b, prohibited hours on September 21st, 2019. And again, the proffer here today, testimony here today, I concur with the imposition of a $100 fine.
So I find a violation of Rule 4.05A on September 21st, 2019. Based upon your record and the evidence before us on this violation, I would concur with the imposition of a $100 fine. I also find a violation of Rule 4.05B on September 21st and would also concur with the imposition of a $100 fine, but implore you to work with the community, because if you come back, you could have some real problems based upon the other circumstances.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Investigation Report, Agent Perez. Community Exhibit 1, Community Impact Letter.
Q's Liquors and Tavern, 2521 East Monument Street, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sales to minors on October the 24th, 2019. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Stephen W. Fogelman. This is an admission.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, you want to tell us what happened?
Yes, we are joined here today by Ms. Hahn, who took over Q's Liquor and Tavern after her husband died a few years ago. She is here with Mr. Young, who was in fact the one who, Mr. Min Hwang Kim, excuse me, who is in fact the employee who sold to the cadets.
Hey, before you go further, let's just swear everyone. Okay?
I'm sorry.
All those here to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury
Raise your right.
that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Okay, I'm sorry. Just in case you needed to get testimony from your client.
No, no. At this point, no. I'm just, the only thing in the investigation report refers to the cadets in plural and says they were served, and the server gave the cadets a bottle. So I was just curious as to who actually made the transaction. That having been said, Ms. Hahn is active in the community on East Monument Street. Her husband was for many years. She hasn't really, the bar, as far as I know, didn't have any problem. 2010. Those were obviously during her husband's operation of the bar, and she literally inherited the bar in 2017. So this is, you see these violations from nearly a decade ago.
And one from last year too.
Right, no question, it is, and that's causes her great concern. This employee has been with her for many years. This is the first time this happened. The female cadet apparently, insisted she was 24, and he was busy, and he believed her, and he made that mistake. Sometimes, like I say, people fire people for this conduct. He is extremely remorseful about what happened and invested in making sure that that doesn't happen again. As far as I know, there's only 2 of them who basically get behind the counter. So it's one of these things where you have to the only way to do this at this point is to have zero tolerance on noncompliance with the no ID, no service rule. And so they put, just like many of my clients in the same position, put a sign out front of the register that says no ID, no service. And then behind the register, a no ID, no service, or you're fired. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to, because when you start making exceptions, customers start feeling like they are being picked on or discriminated against. So, like, why did you decide I need to show my ID? So I just think the best policy, especially when you've already been in compliance with this rule, is to go 100% ID check, and that's what they're committed to.
Okay. Detective, were they cooperative? Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the proffer from counsel and testimony, including the admission, I find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, on October 24, 2019. I recognize that 2 of these prior violations are almost 10 years old now, and she may not have been responsible directly for them, but there is one other. So I would impose a $1,500 fine and give her 30 days to pay.
Thank you very much.
I, too, find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sales to minors on October 24, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on October 24, 2019, based upon the fact that she just took over the license within the last couple of years. I would concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
Thank you.
All right.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, Investigation Report, Agent Chris Malice.
L&M Liquors, 1148 East North Avenue, Class A, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sales to minors on October the 24th, 2019. Please come forward.
Will all those who are going to testify raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Mr. Tyler or Ms. Lee? Who's here? What are your,
My name is Hawk.
I'm sorry, what is your name, sir?
Hawk.
Hawk? How do you spell that?
H-A-K.
Okay.
You're Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Hawk Jun Lee.
Oh, okay, okay. And so you're charged with a sale to minor on October 24, 2019. Do you wish to admit or deny?
No, that was my sister.
Well, the licensee is charged with that, and you're one of the licensees. So do you admit or deny that it occurred?
Yes.
Okay, you admit it. All right, so do you want to explain to the board what happened?
Yes. They said she told me that a woman came in and she said she asked her for her ID and like several times, and she would not comply. So she said that she asked her for her age, and she said she was 24. And all I know is that she said that she felt like she was being harassed. So and she also said that she felt pity for her or something. And so that's why she gave her the alcohol without license.
Cooperative? No. Want to testify, Detective?
Detective L.C. Greenhill, Vice. No, she was not cooperative because once we went back in to try to obtain ID and at least try to get the $20 bill back, she became argumentative with all detectives, including Inspector or Agent Chris Malice. Chris Malice asked her for her ID a few times, and she stated no. It wasn't until her brother came in and we explained to him what was going on, and he had to get the ID from her.
Does your sister have some kind of problem, disability, or anything?
She was diagnosed with schizophrenia several years ago, and she spent. She had gotten a car accident, and she spent a lot of time in a mental hospital.
Do you think she should be the person making these decisions in your establishment? I mean, the problem you've got, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is your 6th violation of this rule. I don't know if she's been responsible for all those, but
I thought it was the fifth time.
we had one in July of 19, November of 18, March of 18, February of 15, and January of 09. You've had the license since 07.
If I may add, yes, she has been the one.
I remember last time it was
At least 4
Ms.
cases
Hockley.
I can recall.
Yeah.
She's been the one that made the sale.
I would suggest you might want to find another role for her to play at your establishment.
I mean, she's my sister, and it's a family business, and I can't chain her up in a cage.
No, I didn't want you to do that. I just thought maybe there's something she could do other than sell liquor. maybe she could help you do other things.
Well, she helps me with the lottery, and, you know, she covers for me when I have to eat, you know,
If I may, while we were there, I spoke to the gentleman and I told him that there is registers that will not operate unless you scan an ID. And I recommended to him, and I don't know if you've looked into it, but I gave you a lot of information about it.
yeah, I looked into some. measures. I couldn't find any measures for that fancy.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
What are you able to do, what are you going to do differently? Because this is, as the chairman said, this is the sixth one.
Customer from the.
That area we work, it's a very bad neighborhood. It's, you know, we do our best to ask for ID. It's nearly impossible to ask everybody for ID. Alcohol is so easily acquired without ID there. It's just, you know, they would ask someone older, like a homeless older guy to pick it up, and they would.
It's
You know,
not a
I
safe
can't call
neighborhood.
police
It's not a safe
police
street or Park Street.
on that person because
So what's riot?
the police don't come. If I keep calling the police a lot, they don't come. Like you know, I was burglarized like a month ago, and then another attempt like 2 weeks ago.
Broke in.
And yesterday I called the police because there was so much drug activity there, and the police never showed up.
I'd encourage you to keep a 911 log, if you don't already, to keep a record of these things. But to the chairman's point, I'm not sure that I'm hearing anything from you about how you're going to change your practice, which is really what's most concerning to me.
Yes, I'll look into the cash register with the ID that doesn't open without the ID.
Okay. Anything further?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, including the admission, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on October 24, 2019. This is the sixth sale to minor violation, and the last three of them have been just within the last year or two. So I don't have any choice but to impose a $3,000 fine, and I would issue a 3-day suspension. I'd give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a sales to minors on October 24, 2019. I concur with the imposition of a $3,000 fine and a 3-day suspension. You have to think about doing something different.
Yeah, I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on October 24, 2019. Concur with the imposition of a $3,000 fine and a 3-day suspension. I join my colleagues in saying you got to do something different. You're now, I think, at the risk of losing your license. And so this may not be a business you can return to if this continues.
Suspension will begin when you pick up the license, okay? Thank you. Yes.
Whenever you pick it up.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
El Alantra, 4020 East Lombard Street, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.05 small a, prohibited hours on November the 9th, 2019. Violation of Rule 4.05 small b, prohibited hours on November the 9th, 2019. Please come forward.
All those going to testify, please raise your right hands.
Swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony about to give is the truth.
I do. Mr. Fogelman, is this an admission or denial?
This is an admission.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm here with Francisco Maldonado, the manager at El Antro. This is a situation where a new person, assistant manager at night, didn't fully understand that it is a hard and fast rule to close at 2 a.m. And that's why they're not denying it. And in fact, I think the report says that Detective Gatto observed the situation, they were closing up, but they don't, 5 minutes is a big deal in this business. And it's not, when you get around to it, if it's 2:15. And it was simply some lack of understanding on the part of some new staff who was also let go. There's not much you can say about it. It wasn't 3:20 a.m. They were closing, but they were not in compliance with the law because you gotta have them out the door by 1:59:59, and they failed in that regard. They've had some issues in the past year or two here with this board, and both times that they've been before you, they have made some changes. There was some kind of violent fight in the parking lot or something, and they added security. There was a $3,000 fine for litter, and they're trying to get a new contract with a different company to change their pickup time. So they've been always looking into ways to try to stay in compliance, but quite frankly, the ownership is not happy with the incompliance that that some of the management has been involved with. And so he has put up the bar for sale, and there's a contract to sale and a transfer application filed. It's just one of these things where he's out. He's done trying to bring the bar into compliance, and I'm hopeful that a younger person who is going to be at the bar 7 days a week will be.
Detective.
May I speak?
Please.
Can
you identify yourself?
Detective Abraham Gatto, Baltimore City Vice Unit. I was investigating this location due to numerous complaints that are very well known to myself in my unit and the liquor board for operating after hours. I observed the side door open, individuals exiting and going back in without being challenged by any security. I walked in on my own. I have footage I'd like to show the board here briefly on my phone to show you that I understand the comment was made that they were attempting to close. If a location was attempting to close, there wouldn't be approximately 40 people, a band suddenly starting to break down their equipment, security guards shocked to see me walk in. This is a situation where no one even would speak to me in reference to the incident because it was, oh no, guess who's here, let's rush out. So if I may play this video on my BPD phone of the events as I entered the location.
All right, I mean, given that this was an admission, I don't see
I don't know.
that I need, the board needs
Take your
this.
word for it.
Commissioners, this is a very serious location. This is the most troubled location we have every night at 2 a.m. And I'm not just speaking about patrons, it's the patrons exiting the location with vehicles near accidents. The security, the 3 security members I watch who are overwhelmed every evening when they're closing. So this is more than just, we ran behind, somebody's not there all the time. This is a bad location for us to deal with every Friday night, every Saturday night, and some weekday nights. And that's why I have this evidence to show you how many people were in there. It's not just a few people. People were scrambling, grabbing buckets of drinks off, because I showed up suddenly. And that's all.
Do you have any questions?
No, I'd just say that some of his testimony has obviously gone way beyond the scope of this particular incident. But it also demonstrates what I just said a few moments ago, that it's clearly time for...
Yeah, the record's awful. Yeah. Okay. Anything further? All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, including the admissions, I find a violation of Rule 4.05, small a, on November 9, 2019, and a violation of Rule 4.05, small b, on November 9, 2019. Given the record, I'd impose a fine of $1,500 as to each, and I would suspend the license for 5 days.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.05, small a, prohibited hours on November 9, 2019. I concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine. And I find a violation of Rule 4.05, small b, prohibited hours on November 9, 2019. I concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine as to that. And I agree with the 5-day suspension.
I find a violation of Rule 4.05, small a, on November 9, 2019, and concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine. I also find a violation of Rule 4.05B on November 9, 2019. Concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine, and in addition would agree with the suspension of 5 days.
So 30 days to make the payments of the monetary sanction, and as soon as the license is picked up, the 5 days.
All right, suspension, yeah, will occur this afternoon.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Guy.
Mimi's Discount Liquors, 2607-09 Greenmount Avenue, Class A, beer, wine, and liquor license, here for a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sale to minor on October the 24th, 2019. Violation of Rule 3.02, cooperation on October the 24th, 2019. Please come forward.
All those going to testify, please raise your right hands.
You swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
I do.
Are you Mr. Chung, sir?
No.
What is your name?
Ilsun Chang, ILSOONCHANG. Ilsun Chang.
Chang. So, what is your relationship to this establishment?
Yeah, Chang is my cousin, and then I'm a manager in there.
You're the manager? Okay. So, they are charged with a sale to minor on October 24 and a failure to cooperate on October 24. Do you wish to admit or deny?
Yes.
Admit?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what happened on that occasion?
Yeah. Our employee name is Mr. An.
Can you speak up, please?
He doing the minor violation.
Okay. And there was, what was the lack of cooperation was failure to get the money returned?
Yeah.
For a good period of time, he held off.
He being Mr. An, right?
Yeah.
So, may I speak, or is he?
Yes, no, go ahead.
Basically, I entered the location, asked for the currency, showed him the photographed copy of the $20 bill that we just purchased the alcohol with, showed him the product, the change. He became very nervous, started grinding his teeth. And on my video, I'm sorry, because I turned this on because of the evidence I had in the last, I started telling the guys, hey, look, I think we're being deceived here. I don't think the $20 bill is going to be in the register. Sure enough, it wasn't. We couldn't find it anywhere. He later, after Agent Chris Amelis pulled up, started bringing up things on the camera, he then said, yes, here's the $20 bill. He was hiding with his personal change. I believe he realized what had occurred when he saw me come in and real quickly took that $20 bill and put it in his pocket.
What video camera are you referring to?
His personal camera. I have footage on my body and a phone going, and then he has footage. So he continued to basically, I think we went on for approximately, I have it in the report here, over 5 minutes where he kept saying, no, I don't have it. Then got to the point that he wasn't going to cooperate at all with us. He stopped speaking. And then Agent Chris Amelis said, okay. And he had a camera system right there, and it started to backtrack and show what was occurring. So then quickly, okay, here it is.
And who is Mr. An?
Yeah, he's our employee. He just working just 3 weeks, and then he worry about he selling the minor, and then he have.
Is he still working there?
No, he already fired.
He was fired. Okay. Because, and I'm going to hear from the others, but so you've had this license, or they've had this license since 2012 without any violations, and he's caused this problem. So, okay. Let me hear from Mr. Brown and the other gentleman.
Sir, this area is a grave concern to Tony Brown, Charles Village Benefit District, Community Benefit District. This area is a grave concern for us with the loitering. I mean, when I go past there, people are smoking what appears to be marijuana. There's a lot of trash laying up and down in front of the store. We've had no communication with the store, but the loitering and then the violence in that immediate area is really concerning to us.
Thank you. Do you have similar testimony, sir?
For the record, Miller Roberts, president of the Harwood Community Association, but also board member for CVCA and CVCBD. And I live a block from this liquor store and pass it anywhere from 8 to 12 times a day, coming and going. The observation that I have is that in the past 2 months, there's been an increased loitering and increased trash. I keep in contact with all of the businesses in Harwood and don't have a contact for them, but also have noticed that the number of people standing in front of the business has increased substantially, and the business next door that's new has reported that they've had some problems as well. So I really would like to have some connection with this store, and I'm concerned that there was some alleged deception to hide, and we really need our businesses to work with us to make sure that our community is safe.
Okay, appreciate it, thanks.
All I was going to say is maybe they should work with our community
absolutely.
liaison and work something out today. Mr. Chang, we have someone here from the liquor board who can sit with the licensee, or if you're available now, just have a preliminary discussion.
Well, I think that Matt's going to have to talk with the licensee. Maybe you can facilitate that and involve the community organizations as well. And I'm going to ask him to set that up so that you can express your concerns. As you know, this establishment's been there since 2012, and they've never been before us before. Sounds like they had a bad employee, but looks like the future could be worse if we don't get it settled now.
Right.
So appreciate your concern, and our liaison will work with you all to see if you can't do something about that.
Mr. Chang, are you aware are you following?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I didn't.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just
Daily.
have Matt afterwards.
Yes. I ask him to
Speak.
make the contact.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you very much. So, Mr. Chang, on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, as well as the testimony from the community organizations and their letter, and your admission, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on October 24, 2019, and a violation of Rule 3.02 on October 24, 2019. I recognize that this is the first offense. So as to the sale to minor, I would impose a $250 fine. But the lack of cooperation is egregious, and I would impose a $1,000 fine as to that one and give them 30 days to pay.
Hold on. I too found a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on October 24, 2019, and I concur with the imposition of a $250 fine, given that this is the first offense. And as to the violation of Rule 3.02, cooperation, I find a violation, and I too find it egregious that our detective had to, and our agent had to go back and forth with the employee. So I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on October 24, 2019. Since it is your first violation, I concur with the imposition of a $250 fine. I find a violation of Rule 3.02 on October 24, 2019, and based upon the facts before us and the admission, I would concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The community letter. Medical exhibits for the record. Thank you. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, Investigation Report, Agent Chris Amalis. Community Exhibit 1, Community Impact Statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Detective. Melba's Place, 3126 Greenmount Avenue, Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare, on July the 9th, 2019. Violation of Rule 4.16, Illegal Conduct, July the 9th, 2019. Please come forward.
Counsel, you want to identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Frank Boston III on behalf of Melba's Place.
Good afternoon. Would all those who are going to testify please raise your right hands?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Mr. Boston, admissions or denials?
Unfortunately, it's going to be a denial.
Okay.
Just a small denial. I'll
All right.
explain.
Well, let's hear from officer. Sir, would you identify yourself, sir, please?
I'm Officer Jones, Baltimore City Police Department, Northern District. I work patrol unit.
You want to tell us what happened on July 9th?
This particular day is Monday night, usually a large crowd, so I park outside of Melba's. You know, usually Melba's handle any crowds or anything when they're dispersing. So as I pull up to the scene, I observe the security guard pushing one Patriot out because she was arguing and being very aggressive. The next thing I observed, he's pushing another female out. As he's pushing the female out, is another female that's inside the doorway. Once inside the doorway, these two females start to get into a physical altercation. And between that time, the security guard tried to break up the fight, but he couldn't break up the fight, so he pulls out a Monagnock, which is an Aspantoon, and he started striking the upper torso of the two females because they tried to jump on him as he's trying to break the fight up. So at this particular time, I get out the car, he runs back inside. I'm trying to get everything sorted out and situated. And then they come out, we finally get it calmed down. I asked the security guard, where's the Aspantoon? He advised that I never had an Aspantoon, I said, come on, let me know what the Aspantoon is. He never, you know what I mean? He never said he had one, but I observed he had one. And at this particular time, I think that he really could have just broke up the fight or asked for extra security to come out because he's almost twice the size of the individual that was actually, the two individuals that was in the physical altercation. Rendered aid to all three parties. They refused medical attention. At that particular time, I arrested security guard and the two females that were in the physical altercation.
And were they charged criminally?
Yes.
You know what happened?
I think the case got dismissed.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the officer?
Yes, I do. Good afternoon, officer.
How you doing?
What's the reputation of Melba's Place, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I love Melba's Place. It's a nice, good crowd. They handle that situation, you know, like I said before, that usually we're here for omnipresence and everything. If the situation get out of hand, then we deal with the situation. Other than that, security guards handle their business.
Were these two women intoxicated?
Yes.
Why didn't you intervene sooner when you saw the altercation?
Because like I said once before, Melba's security guard, they usually handle anything that goes inside and outside their place of business.
How far was your position from the incident?
Like for instance, this Melba's door, I probably at the end, just on the outside of the curb, like the end near the door.
Okay, and it's your testimony today that when the security officer did produce the baton, he hit on the upper torso?
It was the upper body.
Okay. Nothing further for the officer.
Okay. I don't think there's any more evidence.
Actually, I did have one question. It's okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure we're clear. The two ladies were fighting?
Yes.
And the two ladies jumped the security officer?
Correct.
Okay, nothing else.
Okay. Do you want to present evidence, Mr. Boston?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call the owner first.
If you come up to the microphone, please, sir, and identify yourself.
My name is Matthew Bradley.
Good afternoon.
How are you all today?
Good.
Matt, describe to the commissioners your position in relation to the club.
I am I'm the owner of the club. I've been there for many, many years, 30-something years. Beg your pardon?
Let me ask you.
So,
Okay. Could you tell were you in the military?
yes,
How long?
6 years,
And where did you serve?
4 years.
Huh?
Vietnam.
And could you tell the board your accolades and recognitions that you received?
I have 2 Bronze Stars and a Combat Air Medal.
Okay, after you left the military, what job did you have?
I came back to Baltimore and I went to school and I worked for NASA
Okay.
for many years.
And how
in
many
space age. I worked for them for about 6 years,
Okay, how many years were you with the federal government?
38 years.
Okay, and you were the chief of what department?
I retired from USCID as a branch chief.
Did your service include diplomatic and foreign services?
Yes, 20 years of diplomatic service.
Is your position, your job position and location with the federal government, was it classified?
Yes.
Okay. Could you please tell the board about what training you have at the club?
I have, as the liquor board know, you're only supposed to have one person licensed for the alcohol awareness. What I do at my club, I hire a gentleman to come in, and 75% of my employees are certified alcohol awareness. I'm very sensitive of that, and I've always been, and I try to get all my people certified.
Okay. Has there been a violation in recent years at your establishment?
not to my knowledge.
Record of any violations since 1998 when he took over.
Correct, that is correct. And I want to show you a letter which you produced to me, dated January 22nd. What does the letter say, roughly?
Apparently the
Who's the letter from?
Board of Liquor License Commissioner.
Right.
Apparently, you know, just the gist of what it says is that they sent someone in that was underage to buy liquor, and my employees refused them, and the liquor board sent me a letter congratulating and asking us to continue doing what we were doing.
What's the date of that letter?
The date of this letter is January 22nd,
Is that the first,
2019.
is that the first of these letters you've ever received?
I don't know. I think so.
Okay.
Mr. Boston, just to cut to the chase a bit, do you have anyone here who was there when this fight broke out?
I do.
Can we hear from him or her?
Sure can. Okay.
Your name, sir, please.
My name is Ricky Allen Pierce.
Mr. Pierce, were you in the bar when that happened?
Yes, I am the security officer that
Oh,
he's
you-
saying.
okay, all right.
The security.
So, yeah, Mr. Pierce, what was your location on the night in question?
I handle the front door of people coming in and leaving out.
How much experience do you have?
10 years.
How many years you been at Melvin's place?
4.
Okay. And please describe what happened.
My other staff members brought the young ladies from the back of the club, saying that they was no longer welcome in there. They was having some issues, so I escorted each one out, like the officer said, one at a time. And the last young lady that walked out, I was explaining to her they were no longer welcome inside the club, and that's when the fight broke out. And they proceeded to fight. And once I tried to intervene, like the officer said, the women started striking me.
Okay, and after the woman started striking you, what did you do next?
Reached out for my baton. I had another gentleman, I don't know where he with them or not, but jumped in front of me. I don't know, was he helping me? Was he part of the group fighting? But he got in my way as well. So I had no other choice but to reach out to pull out my baton and reach over him, because I was pinned in between the doorway.
And both women, attacked you?
Yes.
Okay. After you struck the one with your baton to protect yourself, what did you do next?
I went back inside the club. They stopped. Once I struck them, they stopped fighting.
Okay. As a result, you were arrested?
Yes.
And you went to court?
Yes.
What was the result of what happened in court?
All charges were dismissed.
Okay. For the record, just proof of the dismissal. I have copies.
Thank you.
In the highlighted area. Doug. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
As a result of the incident, what did Mr. Bradley do to you?
I was sent home for a week, pending to the.
Suspended?
I was suspended.
And then you ultimately brought back?
I was brought back.
Because after Mr. Bradley's investigation, he found that you weren't
I was in compliance
with his rules.
with his rules.
And then you had to hire a lawyer for court?
Yes.
How much was that?
$3,000.
Okay. Thank you. I have one more witness who was there. Mr. McDonald, what is your relationship with the club?
I'm the manager that night.
Sorry, can you state your first name for the record?
Ray McDonald.
Okay, were you ever with the Baltimore City Police Department?
Retired as a sergeant in 2010.
Okay, describe your education.
I have a bachelor and master's degree from Johns Hopkins University through the Police Executive Leadership Program.
Do you work as a professor?
I'm an adjunct professor at Howard Community College teaching criminal justice.
And what other work do you do for the Public Defender's Office?
I'm a contract private investigator for Baltimore City, Frederick County, Baltimore County, and I do some work with Howard County Office of the Public Defender on felony cases.
Okay, and on the night in question, you were at the establishment?
Yes.
And when it came to your attention, what, if anything, did you do or say?
Once it came to my attention, I went outside. I did see the police presence. Rick, and this was after the altercation took place. Rick had gone back inside, and the officer more or less wanted Rick to come back out. And I believe I just let you come back in. Was that, I can't remember. Yeah, he came in, and at that point he was able to contact Rick.
Were the two women fighting in the bar? Is that why they were asked to leave?
Well, you'd have to ask Rick why they were probably intoxicated.
The officers said.
Well, I know it was something going on in the back of the club, and they was escorted out. Another part of my team.
Okay.
As I recall, the security in the back escorted the ladies to the front.
Yes.
One at a time.
One at a time.
And as which they handed over to you.
And they passed them on to me.
Because you're working the door.
I work the
And
door.
since you're working the door, you escort the ladies out.
Yes.
And as the officer observed, the first lady was arguing with you because you had told her she was no longer welcome.
Yes.
All right, next, the second lady comes from the back being escorted by other security in the club,
Yes.
right? And then it's the procedure that security officer hands off the lady to you.
Yes.
Or at the patron.
Or
And
they-
at that point, you escorted her out.
Yes.
And as you were escorting her out, that's when the other lady came and jumped her.
Yes.
And that's when you had to protect yourself.
Yes.
Anything further?
Nothing further, if I could just be heard.
You can admit, Mr. Brown's hovering again.
No, right, again. Tony Brown, Charles Village Community Benefit District, Safety Director. Just our concern with this is the area they're in, 3200 blocks of Greenmount Avenue, has become violent recently and a lot of drug activity outside. And approximately 2 weeks before I was notified of this hearing, I was contacted by the community about Melba's loud, rowdy, and littering patrons that were coming out, especially Monday night. But with that being said, we met with Melba's about 2 years ago in reference to the same problem. I think both of us were at the meeting. They complied and they worked with the community very well. So hopefully that we can reestablish that relationship and quell all the behavior outside of Melba's.
Okay. So I hope that you're able to, it sounds like Mr. Bradley's a very reasonable man, and so I think you can do that.
And here's a community impact
And I
letter.
just want to add that, just in response to, in addition to Mr. Brown just said, Melba's has a strict policy. They have an age policy, a dress code policy, behavior of intoxicated people policy. They search for weapons and alcohol at your door. They have male and female security. They have regular security meetings before the place opens and after each incident happens, if there's an incident in the club. They have themes for every night. Sunday is regular. Monday is the night in question. It's called Mingle Mondays, where it's outside promoters. Tuesdays are sing-along Tuesdays. Wednesdays regular. Thursday is a promoted event. And then a live broadcast of 95.9 on Fridays. As the record shows, Mr. Bradley runs a Class A, or attempts to run a Class A establishment. He's a no-nonsense type of guy. He's employed no-nonsense type of people. And to the rules that we're here for, which is 3.12, licensee should operate their establishments in such a manner as to avoid disturbing the peace, safety, health, quiet, and to promote the general welfare of the community. In addition to Rule 4.16, which basically says the same thing, except for it says illegal conduct, a licensee may not commit, allow, commission, or license persons to any act that's contrary to federal, state, local law or ordinance, or is against the public peace, safety, health, welfare, quiet, or morals. They were attempting to do just that, which the spirit of the Lord wants them to do. They were escorting rowdy people, two ladies who were fighting, outside of the club, so as to not only protect the safety of the other patrons in the club, and protect the safety of the two women who were fighting, and to keep it quiet and keep the character and keep the morals and the welfare of the inside community of the club and the outside of the community by escorting, not throwing them, but escorting these ladies out in a very orderly way. I read the actual statement that, was submitted with the violation, and I actually agree with everything that the officer said, because they did just what they were supposed to. And I do understand the officer in this situation, when he sees this, it's just best maybe to arrest everybody and let so things can cool off. It's a shame that this guy did get arrested who was doing his job. We thought in a manner that he was supposed to. Maybe if he would have produced a baton when he went in, maybe things would have been different. We get that. But I don't know what more Melvis could have done. We're surprised to hear about what you say happens on the street in the general community, but not necessarily in the club. But I'm glad to hear, Mr. Brown, that you're saying that you did meet with Mr. Bradley and you were able to work things out and hopefully work on the greater community issues as well as any issues that happen outside of the club. But it's very well run. They try to stay away from the liquor board, and we would ask that this board find in favor of the establishment.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, as well as any evidence received, including the letter from the Charles Village Community Association, with respect to the charge of violating Rule 3.12, taking into account all of the testimony and the 21 years of a pristine record, I would dismiss that violation. And as to the charge under Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, I think technically we probably could find a violation here based on the fact that an assault took place in the presence of the officer. But I don't know what more your folks could have done to try to diffuse this situation when these two individuals were intent on breaking the law and they were appropriately charged. I'm not sure what happened after that, but I would, based on a 21-year clean record, I'd dismiss that violation too.
As to the first violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare on July 9, 2019, I agree with the finding. I also agree to dismiss this finding as well. Based on the testimony here today, I concur with the chairman's statement that I'm not sure what else could have been done. It seems as though it's been run relatively well for the last 21 years, and anytime there were any issues with the community, they rectify those issues. So I agree with dismissing that first finding. And as to violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on July 9, 2019, again, I am not certain anything else could have been done in this situation. So I as well agree with dismissing that violation.
So as to Rule 3.12 on July 9, 2019, I concur with my colleagues. There wasn't anything more, in my estimation, that could be done. It's unfortunate that a baton was used, but it's understandable, and I appreciate the officer's efforts in that regard. As to Rule 4.16, as I read the rule, I would also dismiss this. I don't know. It appears to me that Mr. Pierce's case was no prost, and there aren't any other charges that I'm aware of that would allow for that violation to go forward. So I would dismiss both. Join my colleagues.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Will we be waiving the admin fee also?
Thank you.
Are we waiving the admin fee?
Thank you, sir.
Admin fee waived, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, is that all the exhibits?
Yes. I'm calling
Okay.
the exhibits
Mr.
now.
Page, is that the docket?
I need to call the exhibits, I'm sorry. Community Exhibit Number 1, Community Impact Statement, Licensee Exhibit 1, MDK Search Result, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Officer Jones. 2, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Officer Jones. 3, Report Officer Jones. 4, Report Officer Jones. And 5, MDK Search.
Are we done, Mr. Page?
We are, Mr. Chairman. The board is in recess until Thursday, December the 19th, 2019 at 5 p.m.
Thank you all.
We are adjourned.
Thank
5
you.
p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.